Hey everybody, this episode gets a little hot and heavy, so listener discretion is advised.
Eventually you get absorbed in, and you are Sonic.
What's up, everybody? I'm Taylor Olmstead, and I want to welcome you back to No Repeat, a podcast where we pick 3 songs every week with no repeats and no do-overs to create a perfect playlist for every occasion life throws at you. Joining me are my co-hosts, Tyler Reed.
You got what I need.
And Sean Evans.
He probably has said to a lot of people, hey, look at that thought. He just seems like it, like he's a little judgy.
Are you kidding me?
I don't think there's any judgment involved.
No, he's judgy. People that say they're not judgy are usually the most judgy.
Well,
are
Sean,
you judgy?
Am I?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, it was Sean's challenge, so we'll let him explain it in a second. But Tyler, if people want to give us some more challenges, where can they do that?
Hey, folks. You know the drill. You know that you love it. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at No Repeat Pod, and you should DM us or add us or just however you do, send us some kind of message with your own challenge, or you can always email us at norepeatpod@gmail.com and send us as many challenges as you want. No things are off the table. All you gotta do is just think about a situation in your life that you need a soundtrack for.
Send in some challenges for the new year. The list is getting small.
New year, new me.
That's right. Sean, this one was your idea. What are we doing here?
So tonight's challenge is, what's your THOT song? And THOT is the THOT, which is that hoe over there song. So basically, you're supposed to pick a song that was your THOT song that basically soundtracks you being the thought that you are. Some of us have not been a thought for a while. Some of us are actively thoughting. Some of us are still actively thoughting, even though we probably haven't done it for a while. Maybe all 3. Who knows?
I was thinking about what is the song that would play in a context where I might see that hoe over there, but also I might potentially be that hoe over there. Because, sometimes you just had a few too many, you're out on the dance floor, and you're hoeing it up a little bit. We've all been there. We've had those nights where the vodka cranberries are poured a little more vodka than cranberry, if you will. I'm not speaking of anyone or anywhere in particular, certainly not Valentine's Day in the Castro or any given night in downtown Nashville. Of course not. That would never be where those sorts of things happen. Of course not. I would not know. I'm a good Christian boy who doesn't know such things. But I think when looking for a song that felt like a thought song to me, it needed to be something that I would expect to hear out in the world when we can go back out in the world again. Like, it needs to have that kind of like dance floor moving quality to it. Because like there are songs that make me want to dance that would not play well in a club or in a dance environment, but I wanted to pick something that felt like it would fit and that like could get a room full of people moving. But I also spent some time thinking about like what are the stereotypical thought songs and then what is something that's a little bit off from those, because there are a lot of options, right? And I think, unfortunately, a lot of them are just like 2000s hip-hop songs that became really popular, and they just kind of like bring out the millennials. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to pick Yeah by Usher and Lil Jon. I'm just not.
Skeet, motherfucker!
Yeah, I'm not going to pick To the Window to the Wall. Like, I'm just not going to do it. So I wanted something that was a little bit newer, a little bit maybe not as like hugely popular, but still slightly well-known and could get you moving. Get you schmoovin', as Tyler might say.
Oh, he's a smoover.
But let's go over to Big Schmoovin'. What were your criteria for this challenge?
Oh, goodness. Oh, gracious me. Well, I mean, I get like a metaphorical nosebleed even at the thought of being attracted to someone. So like, this is really was like, listen, I attempt to sound smooth on this podcast, but I am absolutely not in any capacity. So like, this challenge was difficult in multiple different ways, but like I tried to consider my ideal like sexually liberated, like, full of confidence self, presupposing the moment struck. I don't know. I just kind of picked a song that I felt like almost wasn't necessarily sort of, like, I guess in a way sort of similar to Taylor's, but not necessarily would be playing. Just, like, it's more about what the song is and represents more than, like, it would be literally playing. But I also wanted to pick a song that could also play and also would be kind of good, depending on where you're at. So, I don't know. It was really a challenge because I was trying to pick the right flavor. And, like, it's kind of weird for me who, like, views himself as, like, a Muppet to, like, well, how does a Muppet
drop it low and twerk?
Like, yeah, how does he hoe himself up? Like, I haven't seen Avenue Q, but I would imagine probably I would get some inspiration from that musical play.
I just imagine, like, Tyler's thought moments are basically just like, if I'm watching him and this is playing as he's doing his, like, little thought thing,
I'm throwing up at the thought of it.
That he's got, like, the Kermit the Frog, like, wires coming off of his wrists, and he's, like, flossing or something.
I imagine it looks a lot like the last 3 songs of the night at any Ohio wedding.
Yeah.
More Than a Feeling.
No.
That's number 1.
Gross.
There's the vague scent of cheap vodka and even cheaper beer, and Tyler is dancing in the proximity of a bridesmaid, but not with her.
Well, that's because he just finished his 7th pulled pork sandwich, and he might have gotten a little sloppy with the barbecue on the last one.
Oh, God. No, you're right. You're right. Oh, God.
I don't know what's more spot on, that description of Tyler or the fact that every wedding, graduation party, and funeral in Southwest Ohio has pulled pork at it.
Well, you gotta have pulled pork.
Otherwise, what's the point? It's not a party.
I know.
It's the perfect anytime food.
Sean, what are you listening to during your hoe phase?
Oh, it's a little crazy. It's really synthetic. It's very plastic because I'm fake.
Interesting. That's an interesting angle on this challenge.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's all surface?
Oh yeah. I'm so fake. I can pretend like I'm not, like, a really emotional person who doesn't get attached to stuff, but that's totally wrong.
Can confirm.
That's a Texas-sized 10-4, good buddy.
Underneath my shiny Ken doll coating is a soft, lovey ooze.
It all makes so much sense now.
Nougat. I love... oh, man, I'm not going to say love nougat. That sounds weird, but it just came out, so...
I mean, I've seen you on the dance floor, though. Like,
oh, whew.
When you want to turn it on, you can turn it on. I'm not saying it's, a moving sight by any stretch of the imagination.
That's the most flattering thing anybody has said to me in 2020. I'm not going to lie to you. I've had some pretty terrible stuff said at me this year. That means a lot.
I wouldn't say I'd give it an A, but I'd give it one of those, like, higher letter grades that they give you in elementary school. Like, what is it? Like S for success? I feel like that's what you would get.
Taylor says that my dancing is an S for success. Not like an actual grade, but one of those things that you pass. P for present. It's
yes, exactly.
P for
exactly.
Accurate. It is technically dancing.
Well, Sean, why don't you go first since it was your challenge? Show us how it's done.
Okay, so for this week's challenge, I chose Disco by Sweet Trip. I stumbled upon this song actually this week when I was listening to Cleaners of Venus, who listeners will be familiar from a couple weeks ago. I picked Only a Shadow, but I was listening to not to the cover, but actually the Cleaners of Venus. And I turned on, like, Spotify radio, and I was, like, going through the list for a few hours. And this came on, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. All right, it's kind of flat. But then as it kind of worked its way towards the end, and you get, like, some more synths, and you get some more interesting textures happening with the song, I was more in love with it. I just got it stuck in my head and I couldn't get it out for a couple days. But interestingly, why it works for this and why I kind of brought up the fact that I'm a little bit of a faker when I'm being a thought is because it's actually about what I interpret to be robots trying to have sex and how awkward it is. And they're like trying to like match up and do stuff and like synchronize and, you know, everything that's probably unromantic to most people with the exception of robots. I just thought this is pretty good. And if I was drunk, I would love this song even more because it's catchy and it has the double clap in it. And I love the double clap.
See, this is what I wanted to talk about because I feel like to be a thought song, you got to have percussion high up in the mix, and the super like distorted hi-hats you got in here totally work for me. You know, it's not a trap song, which is the stereotypical thought song, but I do think that it has enough hi-hat in it that, you know, if you were like an alternative person, you know, like an alt rocker type of thought, you could twerk a little bit to this. Like, you could make it happen. I'm not saying you couldn't. I do think that there is very much a, like, Ramona Flowers, Manic Pixie Dream Girl, like, mid-2000s indie wood movie crush type of sexy to this, you know? It's very much the girl who's too cool for you at the college party who's kind of a thought, as opposed to, like, the classical definition of a thought. But I like that. I think it's cool. And like you said, the textures are just so interesting. Like, those synths are really cool. That guitar is just like from another planet. And at the end, when I think it's just like a pick slide down the fretboard, but it's kind of like run through some sort of distortion, it sounds so cool. Like, it sounds like a spaceship or a laser or something.
I wonder if they have like a 128-bit filter on there or something to kind of give it that gritty sound.
It kind of sounds that way, which is really interesting in contrast with the super clean lead vocal. And then to have the backing vocals like so buried and distorted, like they're coming through the world's worst payphone. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of interesting production going on here, but I do think that you can also move your hips to it, which is a strong requirement for a thought song.
So I'd actually done a little bit of research on the drum sound because I was like, this sounds like a certain like style, and I completely like threw out whatever notes I had taken on it. It's like break house. It's specifically like a sort of like house influence, like with like a slight like hardcore element added to it. And so I was like, this sound is awesome. I love this because it really, as Taylor said, really does make it, I wouldn't say danceable. It makes it dance adjacent. It makes it wiggleable for sure. Definitely that. I don't know how exactly you would dance to it. And I feel like when I first listened to this, I was like, there's nothing sexy about the song at all. What's Sean going on about? What's this? This is his challenge, and he didn't pick "Get Low" by Lil Jon. What's happening here? And then I of course checked out the lyrics, and it's and listening to like your sort of thesis, I was like, oh, this all makes sense. Because I definitely feel like the time I've spent with Sean and encountered his past relationships has been sort of like, feels like he gets too attached in some ways, you know, like feels like, oh, this doesn't mean anything, actually it means everything. And so like this song is sort of like about sort of like designing like a perfect person, or it's about like sort of like robot love, as he kind of said. I don't know, just like sort of the lyrics really, girl, now let's design each other, close your eyes until the logic's gone, I think was particularly like powerful to me. You know, your psychic love says to consume it, synchronize your time and motion, engineers of this gorgeous song. You're like, yo, this is hot for somebody, for something. So I mean, like, I definitely think the song fits the challenge. It's your challenge, you can do whatever you want. And I definitely think that it definitely fits in a party that exists. It's a party I would want to go to. And I mean, I don't know if it particularly sexually empowers me specifically, but I mean, it's cool. And I feel like being kind of cool is half the battle. So it's a good pick.
Yeah. I don't know. I think because it's fun. I think
it's definitely fun for sure.
When I think about like thoughting, I go immediately to like first year of graduate school for me, when I was my biggest thought.
Freshly single in a new city, going out a lot.
Yeah. basically have like a few really good friends, but then a bunch of new people that I don't really know that well. So you're kind of like out there. It was fun. I don't want to go back to it, but it was fun at the time. And like, I think there's always this kind of it's interesting for me, and I keep bringing up the word fake, and I feel like it's because I think for me there was this idea that you should like be cool with it, like don't panic, like, oh, just be yourself and blah blah blah. But it's so hard to be yourself when you're me,
especially when you think you suck.
Right.
Like, well, I can't be this person because this person kind of sucks. So you have to believe in the person that they see that is sexy. You have to,
or the people that are being judged as being a hoe, like, because you got to feel good about it. So you got to pick kind of a power song, because I feel like there's a lot of judgment coming your way if it's a THOT song. So what kind of gets you over the hoe hurdle? Yeah, no shame. You be you.
Well, I think that's actually...
Bring your backpack into the club.
Well, as someone who may or may not have actually brought a backpack into the club one time, I suppose I should go next.
Wait, why did you...
Taylor also brought a backpack into the club.
To be fair, I had gotten off a plane and hadn't checked into the hotel yet, so...
Does it have your Yu-Gi-Oh cards in it?
I hate you.
You gotta be ready at a moment's notice.
It's all right.
This is what you get when you don't just immediately go into your song. When you preamble it.
All right, this week my song is "All Around the World" by Muramasa featuring Designer.
This goes for all around the world. To the world is gone. This go all around the world. So we carry on. They say I go got it, I go get. I'm on top of the world, my bullshit. In the party, get it started, get retarded. Baby, what's your favorite car to ask mine? Gotta hit on the gas if to get it started. Gotta kick on the gas if to get it started. Hit it right, hit it mumble, hit it rhyme. Say that she hit Mars.
So this is at least the second Muramasa track on the playlist. Muramasa is a UK-based producer, electronic musician, and he collaborates with a lot of really interesting rappers, including Designer on this track and a few others. And I just have always really loved both this beat and the way that Designer like flows in and out of it. Like, he has one of the more interesting flows going right now, in my opinion. But the fact that like his ad-libs are as good or better than his verses really speaks to me about the thought nature of this song. Like, his little yelps and like rolled R's in between the chorus lines. It's just like, it's fun. It's goofy. And you get that trap beat on the verses. So if you were someone who twerks, you could twerk to it. But then you also have a big sing-along chorus that's really easy to get lost in and just like yell out in the club with a bunch of people. I have heard this song out in places, and it's not a song that like everybody knows every word to, but it definitely gets people moving. And that's really what I wanted from this challenge. I wanted something that felt like an old school party song. You know, it has some contemporary elements, it has some old school with some of the synths and some of the vocoder, but it's good, dirty fun. Like, you can get real hot and sweaty to this one if you want to. You can get right up next to somebody if that's what you're into. Tyler is turning beet red, which was my whole goal with this segment.
No, it's fine.
I want to see Tyler 3 drinks deep when this song comes on, and there's no way those hips aren't going to be moving. I know mine will be. It goes all around the world.
All right, so right out the gate, I hate that it uses that stupid siren sound. That's like that really like early 2000s ass siren sound. That sucks. I hate that, and it ruins.
No, I love it. It's a good old school nod.
It's fine, but I'm just saying, like, if I was like, I feel like it's like kind of like rubbing the cat the wrong way, when it's kind of like you're having you're having a nice pet, and then you go. Just kind of ruins it a little bit, but that's okay. You know, it's just not my flavor. But that's fine. That being said, I think you're absolutely right. I think Designer does have a great flow. I'm not totally sold like on his sort of like rap singing, like all 100%. I'm like, you could probably maybe use like a little bit more, but I mean, I don't think it's bad. It's a little sus, you know. But I do like the. It's like it got a little bit of auto-tune on it, which I think is nice. I think, of course, it's Muramasa, so like the production is like excellent. I feel like I also remember Deal With It. I I feel like Muramasa has like a way of just creating like soundscapes that are like really like weird and sort of like alien almost, but they sound so good. They're so crisp, but I feel like they use really unconventional sort of sounds, and I think it's just really cool. And I feel like when I went into this song, like I heard this, I was like, I feel like Taylor's just choosing the banger song. I feel like this is just a song that he's gonna groove to, because like lyrically, nothing. Got nothing there. But I do think, that being said, I think there's something to a song where it has a sort of like a swagger to it. Because designers like you said, he's kind of got like this humor to it, which really just feels like it feels confident. It's sort of like a playful confidence that is almost like more sexy. It's like, because if you can pull that off, because you either look really good or you look like a clown, and I feel like he definitely pulls it off. An opposite side of the spectrum, actually a B-side, a Biz Markie track, that just kind of a clown kind of vibe to it. Say he's just a friend. Oh, baby, you. Anyway, but no, definitely, I think you had a goal, and I think you absolutely nailed it. So, good pick.
There's so many elements to this song. It's so cool. There's like little flips and clicks and stuff all over the place. But I really love that besides his voice, kind of like the counter, maybe the harmony, or I don't know, maybe the like a counter melody is a flute, and how awesome that is to like hear that like juxtaposed to the lyrics, which is really cool. And then there's like what sounds to be like a wood marimba. So there's always this like really like tight, clean, like glassy voice and lyrics and electronics, and then under it is like really native like vibrating instruments. And that's really like a nice ear textural feel to it. And I like the vocoder. I feel like that maybe that's kind of what draws me into the flute even more, is because you can kind of hear that like the vocoder makes your voice come in all these like different frequencies. Like if you're on a non-fretted instrument like a violin, how you can kind of like move up and down without having to hear all the different like tones so I don't know, it's cool. I like it a lot. And I like that it's all around the world too, because that's definitely like a very, very thought attitude for you. Because you're just you.
Poet around the world. Russell Crowe.
All night with the swag, all night with the gang. Well, Tyler, that just leaves you. It's your moment of truth. It's your time to shine. What is your thought anthem?
This week I chose Kiss by Prince.
Don't have to be rich to be my girl. You don't have to be cool to rule my world. Ain't no particular sign that I'm more compatible with. I just want your extra time and your kiss. You got to not talk dirty, baby.
So
No.
Prince is doing a lot of heavy lifting in this song for me. He's really hyping me up. Sex icon, powerful androgynous wizard, guitar god, falsetto out of your mind, Prince. And I feel like Prince is like that meme where it's like the really buff like bunny rabbit, and he's like standing in front of a smaller baby bunny rabbit. It's like Prince is the big sexy one, I'm the little baby one. But anyway, so Prince gives me the power to be who I'm not, which is fine, which is why I picked it, because I was like, I need this sex icon to hoe me up, right? I mean, what's not to love? This is a classic, iconic song. You know, it's got that great Prince falsetto. It's got a great synth, powerful guitar, and I mean, really, lyrically, he's kind of like, just like, listen, you don't got to worry about you. I want to kiss you. And as long as you want to kiss me, we're good. He's like, I don't care what you look like. I don't care how much money you got. Stop talking. I just want to kiss. I want to kiss. Which has also been, unironically, my theme for the pandemic. Very funny. But no, like, I feel like in some ways I'm too picky for my own good. I feel like sometimes. And so I feel like this song is just kind of like, just kiss the girl. Just kiss him. Who cares? just somebody for a night, and so I feel like maybe that's just the sometimes the advice that you need. I don't know.
You messed up my AdSense so hard with this music video.
Why is that?
The reason that I'm busting out laughing when we do the intro is because the ad that pops up before this is for the Trojan Tantex male masturbation. What is it? Hand condoms, I guess.
I believe the technical term is pleasure sleeve.
So, pleasure sleeve. I don't know
what you're looking at, Sean, because my ad is for Imperfect Foods. So
he's so wholesome, even in his sexy times.
Wow. You're a sexy thought, aren't you? I mean, it's Prince, so I'm not about to hate on this song at all because he was a musical genius.
You need all I need all the help I can get. Is what you're saying.
I'm just saying that you are like, some of us are out there to have fun, but you are out there like Mr. Business right now. You got like the sex briefcase. You got like on like a 3-piece sexy suit, probably made of some sort of suede.
That's what it's for. That's what you're trying to get it in, dude. You're trying to get it in.
I feel like the last thing you want is a kiss. I feel like you're trying to infield something.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about this song, right? He wants your extra time and your kiss, but he doesn't just want your kiss. I mean,
oh no,
extra time could be anything.
Right, exactly. How much of your extra time? We don't know. Prince is not specific.
For Play Mario Party.
I mean, Sean's absolutely right. Like, what can you say about this song that hasn't already been said? I want to revisit a couple elements of it, though, because I do think it has some things in it that carry over from both of our other songs. The, like, bar to 2 bars of guitar that come in right after he says kiss every time, I feel like that is your, like, real, like, thoughting it up moment. Like, that's when you bust out the twerk for, like, just those 2 bars, you know? It's very, like, it's smooth until it's not, and then it gets, like, real hot and heavy for a second, and then it goes back to being smooth, which I feel like is kind of a fun twist on the THOT Song. It's not, you know, all the time. You get both sides of the THOT coin, if you will.
Right.
But there are also just some lyrical things in this song that I forgot about because I hadn't listened to it in a while. Like, act your age, mama, not your shoe size is an amazing line, iconic. Also, you don't have to watch Dynasty to have an attitude. Like, come on, Prince, what are you doing? What are you doing? And finally, perhaps the most Tyler in 2020 line of all. Ain't no particular sign I'm compatible with. I just want your extra time and your kiss. The man knows what he wants, Sean. He knows what he wants.
He does. Yeah. Oh, he does. Yeah, that's why I gotta give you credit. You're like one of those thoughts that I really respect because you're like straight to the point. You know, you're not trying to play games like me. You just go out there and this is what you get. You're like a McDonald's hamburger. You're nothing to write home about, but if you're hungry and drunk,
something special sauce.
Yeah.
We are earning that explicit tag this week, baby.
What I like about this song is, well, 2 things. One, I like that there's like this song in particular, I feel like Prince's guitar in general is really good at like having those like pregnant pauses, which is really cool. And then I was at a music store about a year ago and they were saying, somebody was like, oh, I want a wah pedal. And someone was like, who was the last artist that played with a wah pedal on their guitar rig? And every time I hear it now, I'm like, I can just like point it out immediately because I started really listening hard to like, who's the last person to use a wah pedal? And it is everywhere inside of this song. And that's what makes it kind of funky. And I like the wah pedal because it's a little sexy. But
it's really funky for having no bass.
Oh yeah, no, none at all.
Which is incredible.
This is a really minimal song.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got drums, synth, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, and vocal.
I also had that in my notes, but obviously it derailed very quickly into my. Sometimes I write notes for the show, and they go just straight out the window depending on how the conversation at the front goes. But yeah, I mean, like the little bit of drums is like a nice flavor, a little character, adds a lot of character to it. It's really nice.
Also, this music video, eyebrows and leather for days.
I got one or two of those things, and it's not leather.
Leather? Oh, okay, never mind.
The eyebrowless man.
You just have 2 pieces of leather, just like Elmer's glued onto your face.
All leather, no brows. Baby, I'm all magic.
All right, well, with that beautiful comment and all of the hate that's been thrown around tonight, does anybody have some notable B-sides?
Oh, do I?
Oh?
You guys, I really, really, really struggled with this. My number 1 B-side, I couldn't do it because it is the stereotypical THOT song. It was too stereotypical, and as soon as I say it, you're both gonna groan. Mercy by Kanye West, Big Sean, Pusha T, and 2 Chainz.
Yeah. A little too on the nose.
It's too on the nose. Lamborghini Mercy, Your Girl, She's So Thirsty. Also on my list, Moneybag by Cardi B, the Queen of the Thoughts. Flash Pose by Pablo Vittar and Charlie XCX, which if you haven't heard, that's an awesome track. And then another all-time classic, Ass Like That by Victoria Monet.
So, similarly to Taylor, I also had a problem. Lots of very, very totally got a little buck wild. Toxic, old Britney. God, we gotta get Britney on this playlist.
Toxic is a great choice. It has big thought energy.
Brown Sugar by D'Angelo, Cool by Dua Lipa, Just a Friend by Biz Markie, Bad Girls by Donna Summer, Lose Control, Missy Elliott.
Oh, man.
That would have been a good one. Sean's been waiting for Missy.
Get Low by Lil Jon, the East Side Boys, Orchestra of Wolves by Gallows, and Feel the Way I Want by Caroline Rose, which was almost my pick.
I don't really have any B-sides, honestly. I knew what I wanted to put on here, and I did, but now I really wish I would have put some more Missy Elliott on here. This is the ones that I hate when B-sides are like, oh, I would have picked this, and I'm like, oh, God, that was so good.
Shit. Well, I can't say that.
No, it's okay.
Damn.
This one is definitely going to be in the explicit category.
It's explicit. For sure.
For sure. Well, Sean, if people have found the secret code to your heart, where can they enter that?
They can find me on Instagram at TellySean.
And Tyler, if people want to give you their extra time and their kiss, where can they provide those to you?
Oh, goodness. You can find my... Not my... Well, I mean, maybe you can send me a kiss to my website. I mean, the convention kind of breaks down very quickly at rootpets.club, and as always, you can find me on the socials, Rootpets Club on Instagram and Twitter.
And we can go all around the world on social media at TC Olmstead. All of these songs will be on the official No Repeat podcast playlist, and we'll be back next week with another episode of No Repeat.